Today is August 21st, 2024. My name is Rob Carr of Kalamazoo Right to Life. This is Pro-Life Week. Well, I've been gone, perhaps not physically, but I've been gone from this program for the last 2 weeks. Had out-of-town family, just had a hard time getting away to do any kind of a taping. But today, I've got a full program. I'm going to be doing a lot of reading, so forgive me if that bothers you. But I want to make sure I get everything said that I've written down. Yesterday, following an 11-day trial in Detroit, a Detroit federal court, 7 pro-life advocates were found guilty on charges of violating the FACE Act, the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. And they were also convicted of engaging in a, quote, conspiracy against rights. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. Charges brought by the Biden-Harris Department of Justice. Thomas More Society attorneys aided Chester Gallagher, a former police officer who opted to present defense arguments on his own behalf. The combination of FACE Act and conspiracy against rights charges, recently deployed by the Biden-Harris DOJ to prosecute peaceful life advocates, carries a potential sentence of 10 years in prison. In pre-trial proceedings, Thomas More Society attorneys filed a motion to dismiss the felony conspiracy against rights charge, arguing that the U.S. Supreme Court's June 28, 2024 decision called Fisher versus United States prevents the Department of Justice's use of the statute to multiply the potential prison time associated with nonviolent first-time FACE Act charges. So let's talk about the conspiracy against rights statute. It's a part of the KKK Act, the Ku Klux Klan Act, passed in 1870, primarily to guard the rights of recently emancipated African Americans, former slaves, as granted by the Reconstruction Amendments, against rampant violence by groups like the KKK. More recently, however, the Biden-Harris DOJ has used a novel reinterpretation of the law to apply this federal felony conspiracy statute against peaceful pro-life advocates who demonstrate against abortion. Steve Crampton, Thomas More Society Senior Counsel, stated, quote, yet again, the Biden-Harris Department of Justice has decided to characterize the actions of peaceful pro-lifers as a felony conspiracy against rights, punishable by over a decade in federal prison. After the overturning of Roe v. Wade with Dobbs, we believe the FACE Act to be unconstitutional, and we will continue to advocate on behalf of peaceful pro-life citizens like Chet Gallagher, Lauren Handy, and Paul Vaughn, who have been targeted with harsh prosecution by the Department of Justice. Okay, that's an ongoing story because they've been convicted, but they haven't been sentenced yet. So we'll find out what kind of a sentence they're going to be receiving. Okay. Abortion rights has been front and center at the Democratic National Convention this week in Chicago. By the way, I have not seen 1 second of the convention, and I don't plan on seeing it. I mean, I may have been a Democrat 50 years ago, but I am no longer a Democrat, primarily because the party left me. They used to be somewhat pro-life. Well, that's long gone. Okay. Illinois Right to Life expressed its extreme disappointment following Chicago Archbishop Cardinal Blaise Cupich's offering the invocation at the Democratic Convention on August 19, while free abortions were being provided as part of the event. So just want to take a little detour here on Cardinal Cupich of Chicago. He is no stranger to liberal causes. The Catholic Church adopted a document several years ago called Forming Conscience for Faithful Citizenship. It's a roadmap, if you will, on how faithful Catholics should view social issues and voting and the whole political realm. In 2021, the American bishops reaffirmed that abortion is the preeminent priority, that protecting the life of the unborn is the preeminent priority. Those two words, preeminent priority, that's the key we're going to focus in on. Well, when the document was up for renewal in 2023, Cardinal Cupich and a few other bishops wanted to have the words preeminent priority removed. In exchange, they wanted to have the document say that the right to life has moral equivalence to other social issues like poverty, homelessness, immigration, war, housing, etc. Moral equivalence. They're all on the same plane. That concept, that everything was equal, goes back to what has been called the seamless garment. It's a concept that came out in the mid-1980s, and it basically says that, abortion is bad. Abortion is a heinous crime, but it's of no greater crime than how we treat migrants or how we treat the homeless or how we don't help the people on welfare, the poor, or social programs, or how we oppose capital punishment and war. All those social issues, they're all on the same plane. But then you've got other people, pro-lifers primarily, who say no. Abortion stands above the other issues because of its taking of human life. Yeah, you could argue that war takes human life, but in many instances there is what has been called a just war theory. That our war against the Nazis might have been considered a just war because of what Nazi ideology represented and how they were killing millions of Jews and other minorities, and so not all war is even has equivalence either, but abortion, the right to life cause, is the preeminent issue of our day. And even though Cupich might have some influence, when the American bishops voted on whether to remove preeminent priority, Cupich was defeated, handily defeated by the bishops, and so that, at least for now, that ended that. But the very fact that he is speaking at the convention was telling, because the Democratic Party, they're still getting around the fact the Democratic Party is the party of abortion. They adore abortion. They worship at the altar of dead babies. There's no getting around that. It is the abortion party. And it is foundational to whom the modern Democratic Party is. It is foundational to these people that abortion rights be preserved, protected, defended, and brought back, because the Supreme Court did a dastardly thing in the Dobbs decision. Okay. They place no value on the life of a growing baby in the womb. Now, let's face it, if the mom is human and the dad is human, the baby is human. That's not a revelation. That is not. But to Democrats, the baby in the womb is not human. Because if it was human, they would have respect for it. But they don't. They have no respect for the baby. Okay. Back to the convention. Planned Parenthood sent a mobile unit to Chicago, like a bookmobile. We all know bookmobiles. The bus pulls in. The kids go there. They check out books. But Planned Parenthood's, their mobile unit, they're dispensing chemical abortion drugs. The 2-pill regimen to have a chemical abortion. So, and since yesterday, 25 chemical abortions have been performed is the wrong word, but dispensed. They give out the first pill, and then a few days later you take the second pill. So they've been giving out these pills. 25 women are in the process of having their babies killed. And the Democrats think this is wonderful. Meanwhile, abortion rights demonstrators are marching in Chicago. Some women are dressed up as the abortion drugs. And I've seen pictures of these women walking down the street, and they've got this costume on, like a big round puffball, and it says miso on one and miso on the other, for the two different drugs. And they're celebrating the fact that women can abort their babies without the benefit of a doctor by taking these two drugs. And then Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear spoke at the convention, and he addressed the issue of abortion, of reproductive rights. And this galls me. How we treat people transcends party lines. It goes to the heart of who we are. My faith teaches me the golden rule that I am to love my neighbor as myself. And the parable of the Good Samaritan says we are all each other's neighbors. Well, forgive me, Andy, but the golden rule, I'm to love my neighbors myself. The unborn child is your neighbor. That baby growing in the womb is a member of the human family. From conception to natural death, the life continuum flows. And at no point in that pregnancy does that baby change into a fish or any other creature. That is a human being. Okay. So the golden rule, treat our neighbor as ourselves. Yes, if we treated the unborn like we treat ourselves or like we treat our neighbors, then there would be no abortions, because we would love and respect and honor that new life that is growing in a woman's womb. Okay. Beshear told MSNBC that abortion was a constitutional right that was ripped away from women by the Supreme Court. That Donald Trump, those three justices that Donald Trump appointed. Beshear also said that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are so wrong on the issue. Well, I'll be the first to admit that Donald Trump's position on abortion is nowhere near the pure pro-life position. I mean, he supports exceptions. He's really in favor of states' rights. And I'm not in favor of states' rights. I mean, I supported the Dobbs decision, but really, it's not right to have a patchwork of pro-life and pro-abortion states. I don't want to have babies in California aborted and babies in Oklahoma survive. I want them all to survive. So it was a good decision, but it just didn't go far enough. Okay. New York Times writes that Democrats are embracing the issue of abortion in a manner unlike ever before. Long gone are the Clinton-era calls to keep the procedure safe, legal, and rare. Boy, isn't that the truth, where Bill Clinton made a reference to abortion, wanting it to be rare. Democrats still want abortion to be rare. They want every woman of childbearing years to enjoy the blessings and benefits of killing their offspring. With Roe overturned, they have framed support for abortion rights not only as a fundamental freedom for women, but also as a moral call, one that is central to American families and gender equity. Abortion is a moral call. Well, I beg to differ, New York Times and Democratic Party. Abortion is a heinous crime committed against the life of an unborn child. The moral call is to protect and defend the right to life of all people, born and unborn, from conception to natural death. With that, I'll let you go, and I'll see you next time.